Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Attack on Titan. Last time on Attack on Titan, we had the town where everything began, where basically the scouts returned to Shiganshina and began the operation to take back Wall Maria, which included Eren going over to one side of the wall and plugging the hole using the hardness of Buffered Sea Titan. But then things were a little quiet. A little too quiet, actually. I think I messed up that saying, but that's okay. Things were quiet, and everyone was curious, where is the enemy? You know, Reina, Bertolt, and whoever else is here. Presumably, Ymir, first off, is the only other person they would know, and then, as we know, Beastie Boy. And luckily, through the command of Armin Arlert, they did find them. We lost one of our guys, though. Reina killed him. Reina became the Armored Titan, and then Beastie Boy took form and also transformed like 100 people into Titans or something. And yeah, we're not sure where Bertolt is or Ymir at this point, though, so it's just the two of them we see. But yeah, the fight is about to go down, basically, is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, this is where I say no spoilers in the comments. This is also where I say that the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. I should take breaths in between parts of sentences so that I can actually, breathe. But yes, you can go do that, go watch it, have a good time, and when you're done with that, you can pop right back over here to this video for the discussion. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Attack on Titan. Here we go. Oh man, that's I mean, it can't be that easy, you know? It can't be that easy. You know, if Reina's gonna die, I think it has to be a big death, you know? I think it has to be a really big death if Reina's gonna die, so I don't think I can believe that's actually the end, especially, well, because they cliffhang on it, so I doubt it's... If you cliffhang on something like that, I don't think top of next episode is gonna be like, oh, yep, it killed him, yay. But it presents a good argument because he was, like, he's scared. If he survives, it's not going to be because of anything he does, I think. I think he's too scared, so maybe Bertolt will help somehow. Somehow. I'm not sure how, though. Alrighty. Okay. Round two. Oh, let's just jump into the notes. Just jump into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is hardening. It does, I'm glad they do specifically mention that Eren has mastered hardening in 2 months. That is good because it re-emphasizes, how much time has passed since he got the hardening ability, which then it makes sense, how he is this good, obviously. I'm explaining this really well. But the 2-month thing, I kind of forget about it almost. But yeah, the whole 2 months pretty much since Historia's coronation, Eren has become a lot stronger in his Titan form, And I almost kind of forget about that because we've had such a long stretch of time where Eren hasn't been great. Like, he's been okay with his Titan form, but he hasn't been great. Now he really has started to master it. Master his own Titan body, So, and I like how it's not just that he's hardening, but he's focusing all of his hardening onto the ends of his fists to make them stronger. So, that's really good. Very clever. I like that. It's also interesting, they do distinctly show that Reina has the specific hardening ability. I thought he just had natural hardening because he's the Armored Titan, but he does have hardening on top of his armor, basically. So that's pretty interesting. We're not sure if the others... I doubt Ymir has hardening. We don't know if Bertolt or Beastie Boy have that. Because before Eren and now Rhina, the only person we ever saw with hardening was Annie, and that was like her trump card, basically. That's basically how she won all of her fights. Well, definitely how she kicked Eren's ass. Was through hardening, you know? And of course, there is the question, you know, if Eren and Annie fought again now, who would win? You know, Eren, who has started to master his Titan form and is now mastering hardening, would that give him the advantage? I don't know. I'm not really sure about that, because Annie was still specifically, you know, I mean, she was like a special agent. She was like a trained Navy SEAL compared to the rest of the others, you know, Rhina and Bertolt, they aren't that, you know? They aren't that. And Eren's not either, you know? He just barely is mimicking Annie's fighting style in order to beat Rhina, you know? So, that's the thing. Of course, then I also wonder who would win, Annie or Beastie Boy. Now, we haven't seen much of Beastie Boy fighting, I will grant you, but we do know that Beastie Boy beat Rhina in a fight. So, I would be very curious to see who would win between Annie and the Beastie Boy. But we don't know enough to really make a judgment call on that. Let's see. Protect the horses, that makes sense. Because that was like part of the problem, I think, with the Orvid Castle. Was it Orvid? Is that what they said? The Orvid Castle? Was that there was no way for the scouts there to escape, you know? So that was the main sort of problem there. So you got to protect the horses. I like how they also, you know, I didn't realize this, but Beastie Boy is on the inside of the wall, blocking, basically standing between them and Trost, which is interesting. So, but I like how they say, you know, if Eren could go over the wall, circle around, and then in his Titan form, he could run himself to Trost, and no Titan could catch up to him, or he could also swing around and face the Beastie Boy. So, that's all pretty interesting. We also have we have the promise of Levi versus the Beastie Boy. I'm very curious for that, definitely, because, I mean, first off, it's Captain Levi, you know? It's Levi. Levi is amazing, but we've never actually seen Levi. Well, no, I'm so wrong about that, because we did see, even though it wasn't a full fight, and it wasn't, you know, Levi wasn't trying to kill her, but we did see Levi versus Annie. Levi versus Lean Jean. I need to be using their proper names. But yeah, we had Levi versus Lean Jean, and he did completely wreck her. He didn't go in for a kill because he wasn't, you know, he knew it wouldn't have been good to go for a kill like that. The priority was just saving Eren, but yeah, that definitely, he did, like, completely almost annihilate her, basically. So yeah, Levi versus the Beastie Boy. And that's the thing, right now, the Beastie Boy, as far as we know, is kind of our best fighter, you know? Because at the very least, we have a bit of a hierarchy. Bertolt kind of doesn't count because he's kind of in a class of his own, being so huge. But between Rhina, Annie, and the Beastie Boy, like, there are different levels. You know, Annie is above... Well, basically, Annie and the Beastie Boy are above Rhina, but we don't know where the two of them stack together. But we do know that Levi could have, if he really set his heart and mind to it, he probably could have defeated and killed Annie, but it wasn't the mission. He didn't go for that. And he still wasn't, you know, he didn't know about, you know, the hardening ability or anything, or how to predict it, so he wasn't accustomed to it. Now he's probably more prepared for it, especially after seeing Eren's experimentations with it. So you know, he pretty much beat Annie, so how does that then stack up if he faces the Beastie Boy? I don't know, but I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for Levi versus the Beastie Boy. Okay, we also got how Rhina survived Levi's assault, which was interesting. So just before the blade pierced his neck, he transferred his consciousness out of his head and into the lower part of his body. That way, when the sword comes out, it goes back, and he's still alive. Very fascinating. That gives us, that basically just tells us a bit about Titan biology, Because they've always said, excuse me. They've always said, the nape is what you have to kill. It's what you have to cut in order to kill a Titan. And even if it's just the nape that's left, that is enough for a Titan to completely regenerate. So I'm curious if maybe with hybrids, because, does that mean, do you cut, in their human forms, do you cut the back of their neck? Or do you just cut them? But we've cut them many times, and it seems to be you just have to cut where the consciousness is now for the hybrid Titans. And so if he hadn't transferred it that fast, Levi would have cut through it because it was down in his head and his throat. It would have cut through and Rhina would have died. But he transferred it at the last second out of his head and his throat. Levi cuts, it doesn't kill him. So, very interesting. Now, granted, our heroes don't know that. They don't know that, that's how you kill a hybrid, basically. But that's good to know for us, at least. It would be helpful for Levi to know that if he's going to be facing the Beastie Boy. So, though, they don't need to know this if these Thunder Spears are going to work. They don't need to know this if these Thunder Spears are going to work, because that will just blow up the entire body, basically. So, yeah. We also had, we're playing keep away, basically, with the horses. Keeping Rhina away from the horses so that, they don't cut off the scout's possible escape, which was interesting. And it worked. It did bait... they were able to bait Rhina off of the wall and into a fight, so that was good. And we got round 2, and I like, Aaron says, may have just been a fluke last time, but I'll win. And it's like, it really was a fluke last time, he, randomly in the middle of the fight, he was like, oh yeah, Annie used to have a specific style of fighting. I should do that. And then he did it, and that was that, And he won with that. Just remembering, with no training, just remembering any style of fighting, that was enough. And he would have beaten Rhina if it weren't for the interference by Berthold. So now, he's better, and he has hardening. So yeah, he should win, and he pretty much almost did, So that was interesting. Let's see. Oh, I wrote down the Mountain of Loss. So it's interesting, Ervin's basically monologue about all of the other scouts or all the other cadets when he was young, they all died fighting for each other, trying to save each other, but he was doing this selfish thing, and now, this selfish thing of his has put him on a mountain of bodies, But the thing about it is, too, it's worked. It's clearly worked for him. And this kind of goes back to Trost a little bit, the Battle of Trost, where remember how we were saying back then, and I know that was a while ago, but think back to then, when someone gets grabbed by a Titan and they're eaten. Someone else would try to go save them, and then they would end up getting hit because they were distracted. And what it came down to, we learned in Trost, is that if someone, you really can't go back and try to save anyone. It's too dangerous. You could end up dying too. And honestly, maybe that sort of fits into, the morbid success of Commander Erwin, where, yes, he is on a mountain of bodies, and it was all because of this selfish dream of his. But at the same time, look where they are. Look where humanity is. If they win this fight, this could be the end of the Titans, Like, everything, rides on this. So that's the thing, the determination of Commander Erwin, even if it was to achieve this selfish dream, it has propelled him further than anyone else who has ever, joined the cadets or the scouts. So that's the thing, That is the thing, you kind of look at it, it's like, yeah, he's standing on a mountain of bodies. But it has worked, It's one of those strange things. And I did want to take a shot for... this is basically a shot for the people of the mountain. Wait, there's a hair. Ugh. Really gotta, because it always sits up there for, a week or so. I always need to be sure I wipe it out before I drink it. So, alright, I'm just going to pray that there's no other hair in there. Otherwise, I'm throwing up. Okay, we're good. So, and it's interesting how, he also says, at the top of this mountain of bodies, I've got a pretty good view now. And it is true. It's true. But it has worked, It has worked for him to where he is this close to achieving that dream. So, then we got the Thunder Spears. These things are awesome. Thunder Spears. So, you rocket these spears, which can pierce Titan armor, and then they explode. That is awesome. That is so cool. And a good way of getting through his armor, because, they've never been able to pierce his armor, and even Eren, he still struggled with that back before he got his hardening. So I like bringing that in. I also like, when they say, so wait, your grand plan is just a metal rod? And Hanji's like, it's pointy, dumbass. That means it's a spear. I don't know why that was really funny. When she just so casually, it's like, it's pointy, dumbass. So, that was really funny. But yeah, these things are super crazy. But I like, it feels, what it kind of reminds me of, especially when they stuck a bunch of them. It reminds me of when, and this is going to JoJo actually, it reminds me of when Joseph Joestar faced Straitso at the beginning of Battle Tendency, where he, he's facing a vampire. He should use his, mystic sunlight magic and stuff, but he has grenades. And he just explodes a bunch of grenades on the guy. That's kind of what that felt like. Oh, geez, they just have grenades now. Well, sweet, that's awesome. So, they just have a bunch of explosives that they are going to stick into Reina. So, yeah, that was funny. I do like the Thunder Spears. And then, is Reina dead? Again, I'm going to say no, he's not actually dead. But if he is alive, I don't think it's going to be anything he does to, save him, basically. Something's going to have to happen outside of them in order to save Reina. Of course, he could, even if he doesn't die, he might still just survive, just be incredibly wounded and out of the fight, So, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to check those out. There's the playlist for all my Attack on Titan reactions. There's also another video or playlist or something, whatever it decided it wanted to be, that you can click on. There's a subscribe button, there's a Patreon button, there's all sorts of stuff you can go click on if you want to go do that. See you guys later.